Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Pathway to Results podcast. It is your boy DG. I'll tell you what, boy, I tell you, when you make your mind up to do something, there's nothing that you can't do. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that right now. I didn't want to start. I didn't want to start preaching this early, but for what it took for even to get to this point to this podcast, I'll tell you, you had those days where life just feel like it's lifing, where you feel like everything was working against you, and it's like, dang, how come the universe doesn't want me to do this, and how come this isn't? Let me tell you this. I briefly explained it in the last podcast about how basically Instagram did not want me to be, promoting my retreats. One of my retreats is a plant ceremony retreat, and it did not find that favorable. I did not want that. And I asked myself why, and I sat kind of reflecting on it, and I try not to assume the victim of like, why me, but I ask why. And then here's what I realized. I understand how the system works. And the system, just like in business, you need systems for anything to run autonomously. Good God Almighty, I'm going to start preaching. For a system to work, there has to be some type of autonomous mechanism. So when we say the school system, or we say the penal system, when we say the judicial system, the legislative system, there's all these systems. All of these systems are put in place so the business can run. The business of what we would call, this country. And I'm not going to say any names because I'm not trying to get banned again. But when you start understanding how the system works, the system can only operate within the physical reality. In order for you to transcend the system, you would have to do it from the reality that comes before that, the mental plane, the spiritual plane. So I realized that there's no way in the world that something, a system such as social media could allow someone to essentially set people free. And you can't, they're not that crazy, right? They're not that crazy where they're going to say, oh, no more spiritual talk. They ain't going to do that. But here's what we can do. We can criminalize and make something illegal that will help people to realize what they are, that would keep the system from being able to run it autonomously. Think about it like that. You do realize the only reason why something got banned, something such as psychedelics, was back in 70s and 60s when they tested it on U.S. military. In the U.S. military, they found, and they have video of it, they could not fall in line. They 10 hut and they start marching. They couldn't do it. They were over here laughing and giggling and having a good time, being free as a lark. They couldn't do it. They couldn't control them. And they realized at this point, this cannot hit the mainstream. Because if it does, how are we going to use these people's attention? How are we going to use their energy if they can't be controlled to create our reality? That's the thing that we got to understand here. That's the battle. That's the war. Good God Almighty, y'all ain't trying to hear me. You think it's against your money, or no, it's just your attention. That's the real energy. So I need your attention to build my reality. That is the underlying phrase. So anytime that something or someone is maybe against that or moves in the complete opposite direction, this is what we see. So I have to say this to you. You can try all you want. You can try all you want. But if your mind's free, you cannot be controlled. So I have to say this because the amount of effort that it took to even get to this point, if you could have seen it, it would have been, that's a whole podcast in and of itself. But my point of this is, I remember my mom used to always tell me, where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. Where there is a will, there is a way. When you make up your mind, good God Almighty, when you make up your mind that you're going to do something, when you make up your mind and say, I'm going to be the one that says no more to this generational trauma. I'm going to be the one that says no more to unconsciously projecting the wounds onto my children that my parents had unconsciously put on me. I'm going to be the one that's going to go to therapy and go to these places that fucking hurt, that sting, that are painful, that bring up the most insecure parts of myself. I'm going to be the one who's going to do it. When you make up your mind, you will see that there was no thing that the human spirit could not do. And this is the beauty of this existence that we call life. But that's not why I wanted to talk to you today. That's not what this episode was about. You know me, I just got to get going preaching just a little bit. I want to talk to you a little bit about this thing that we call detachment. Good God Almighty. Detachment. You heard that bump. I just hit my knee. I just hit my knee on the desk. Detachment. But we got to understand it on an energetic plane, understanding how energy works. We talked about that and how that's the language of this universe. That's the currency of this universe. But more importantly, I got to understand how energy works with detachment. Because what a lot of these, I don't know what you call them, teachers or spiritual, they're going to tell you manifestation and creating your life, and you got to be it to attract it. And but no, 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 no. Hold on now. Hold on now. Let me go ahead and break some things down, because you know me. I'm not just going to eat the cake. I want to taste the cake. I want to taste every ingredient in the cake. So now I can bring it to you and tell you there's 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. There's 3 cups of flour. There's a half a cup of sugar. So now you will have the recipe. Good God Almighty. You will have the recipe so you can start cooking your own cake. So I'm going to break this down to you real quick. Okay. Let's understand how this works. You will always create your life from either the level of your wounds or your level of detachment. So here's what I mean. Most of us are creating our life from the level of our wounds, meaning it's unconscious. You're not even aware of the wounds that you have. You're not even aware the only reason why you want to be a professional athlete is because maybe then if I'm a professional athlete, I will get the approval and validation from my mother and father that I was seeking. So that will make me enough. So that's why I want to be a professional athlete. And then you end up being a professional athlete, and then guess what happens? Now what? What do I do? And now you're looking for something else to put your validation and approval in. Okay? That's just an example. I see this all the time. Here's the next part of it, though. You're going to consciously create your life from the level of detachment. So in the last podcast, when I talk about the magnets, right? In the magnets, we have the positive end and we have the negative end, and they attract to each other. But if we take 2 positive ends, it does not work. We have to have the opposite. We have to have the masculine. We have to have the feminine, okay? When we take the opposite ends and put them together, they will attract. The same end will repel. What this means for you in your life. People come to me, I want this in life. I want this relationship and I want this. Okay, deal. You have to be the opposite energy then, because isn't that how magnetism works? Isn't that how it actually works? So this, even me, I've said it before. Oh, you are whatever you'll attract whatever you are. Let's partly true, but let's break that down just a little bit more. You won't attract what you are. You will attract from the level of your detachment. So if we think of detachment as the negative energy, we think of attraction as the positive energy. So yes, you must be it before you see it. But by being it, you are already it. So that's why you don't have a desire for it. But what ends up happening is we put our identity in the desires. So now I got to have it. I got to have it. Oh my gosh, I got to get this. I got to have it. And what are you doing? What are you doing? You're repelling it from you because you're coming from the place, from the energy that's in line with the actual thing. I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. The moment that you say, I don't care if I have it, who cares? Who cares? If it happens, great. If it doesn't, great. I don't care. Sometimes in layman's terms, we say, I don't give a f, right? That is the energy of detachment. This is how we magnetize and pull it into our life. So maybe you're in a relationship and you want your man or your spouse or your partner, you want them to be whole and healed, and I want you to just be this way. They ain't going to be that way. And here's why. They're not going to be that way until you will be okay with the way they are. And by you being okay with the way you are, you have just now moved into the complete opposite energy. And now there is a neutralization that takes place because we have the masculine and the feminine energy. And this is how you will create it. Everything I've ever looked back in my life that I've written down, oh, I got to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to create this goal. They have always been accomplished at the moment that I said, man, I don't give a, who cares, man? I don't even care if it happens now. Do you not understand that everything in the universe is trying to get you to this point? But here's what we end up doing. This is the way the ego works. The ego needs it. I got to have it. And the reason why it has to have it, because it puts its identity in having it, meaning it puts its worth in obtaining it. It puts its worth in accomplishing it. It puts its value of itself in whatever it is doing in the quote unquote future or what it has done in the past. But we do not realize, we do not get taught that all manifestation will take place on the spiritual plane. And the spiritual plane does not exist within space and time. So therefore, the only thing that exists is the thing that we call now, is the thing that we call the present moment. So this is why I'm trying to tell you, the spiritual plane is the causal plane, but you have to understand where the spiritual plane is. It's in this never-ending, constant thing that we call the present moment. Present moment. You see, every time I snap, that's a moment. And that's what this is. It's just a moment that just keeps doing this. Moment after moment after moment after moment after moment. And this is why it's so doggone hard to stay in it, because by the time you get in it, it's gone and the new one's here. So this is why I'm telling you, it takes conscious effort, conscious action for you to stay where you're going to create your life from. It ain't going to be from the future. You may have to go off into the future, but at some point you're going to have to reel it back in. And when you reel it back in, this is when we had to be it. And if I'm being it, I don't give a if I get it anyway, because I'm already it. I'm already it. I don't need it. So now that I don't need it, because I'm already in that state, that vibration, that frequency, I'm fully detached from it because I already have it. Do you see how this works? So understanding the next part of it, okay? So this is the way my mind works, right? I'm looking in my mirror the other day and I'm like, okay, life is a mirror, right? I figure out the magnetism thing. I got to come from the opposite energy, meaning I don't care, meaning I don't have the desire anymore because I guess I already have it, right? I don't care. That's the negative. The positive would be having it. Boom, the two have a love child together. Here it is in my physical reality. So then I started to think about the mirror. The mirror. This life is a mirror, but I'm sitting here staring at the mirror, and this is the way I am, right? My wife walked in. Carly was like, what are you doing? I'm just sitting here staring at the mirror, right? Not saying nothing to nobody. I'm raising my hand, keep putting it down, raising my hand, putting it down. She's like, oh, here he goes. He's on one of his things again. She just lets me be. And I would raise my right hand. I would raise my right hand while I was looking in the mirror, and the illusion was that this reflection in the mirror would raise its right hand too. But in reality, if I turned and looked at it really from the perspective of the mirror was raising its left hand. Good God Almighty, y'all ain't trying to hear me right now. Do you see how this works? Sometimes we'll call this the law of opposites. I'm raising my right hand, but the mirror's actually raising its left hand. A mirror reflects the complete opposite. So if this world, good God Almighty, y'all are getting this straight from the source right now. If this physical reality is a mirror of me, that means in order for the mirror and the image to link up, it would have to be opposites. But it's going to be an illusion. Because when I raise my right hand, it looks like it's raising its right hand. No, it's not. It's actually raising its left hand. Dang! What? So it clicked. All of these things that you ever desired to create, you had to come from the opposite energy. The opposite energy. The goal was just the thing to get it going. The goal was just the thing to get the momentum going. But then at some point, the desire would have to subside and you would come in from the complete opposite energy of desire and attachment, and you would come in from the energy of detachment and letting go. Do you see? And now, the two energies link up. They link up, even though they look like they're opposite, even though it looks like it's not working because it's like, well, I'm raising my right hand and the left hand is, no, they're actually in harmony. What did Paula Abdul say in her song? And don't you know, in the opposites attracting, you know, it ain't fiction, just dimension. What'd she say? Opposites attract. Opposites attract. Opposites attract. Opposite. You ain't gonna make no more money wanting more money. I'm gonna tell you that right now. You will never make more money wanting more money. You're never going to get more playing time desiring more playing time. You're never going to get your spouse or your partner to live in this harmonious union that you are so desiring. It will never be that until you decide to come from the complete opposite energy of detachment. Wow. So here's what I realized, and this is what it's all clicking just a little bit more, right? Just a little bit more. In 2024, if you really want to score, it's about you not needing more. Was this Dr. Seuss? In 2024, if you really want to score, it's about you not desiring more. We have needs and then we have wants. Wants and desires go together. See, when you come from a place of not needing, now you're coming from a place of abundance. Now you're coming from a place of abundance. So I don't need none of this. I don't need any of it. Why? Because I know that what I actually am is everything. Do you see how this works? So I'm not coming from a place of lack. I'm coming from a place of abundance. And true abundance, like we talked about episodes ago, was you having the recognition and the awareness that everything that you ever needed in this ever fleeting moment that we call the present moment, you were always going to be supplied with it. This, honestly, if we really want to break it down, why do you think Jesus was who he was? Why do you think? I'm just using Jesus as an example. I'm not using this from a religious. Why do you think Jesus was him? Why do you think? This dude knew what it was. He was always coming from the place of the present moment. That's why he looked at him and said, yo, don't listen to the ones who say it's over there, it's over here. You're only going to find it inside of you. I'm just imagining Jesus in 2023. If you know what I mean, if he lived in, the south side of Chicago, how he would be. Yo, I'm just telling you, love your neighbors. You know what I mean? Love your neighbors the way you love yourself. Dang, so what do you mean I gotta love my neighbor? Nah, listen to what I'm saying, dude. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm telling you, you love your neighbors the same way you love yourself. So if you want to love your neighbors, you need to start loving yourself first. Love yourself. Then you'll love your neighbors. You know what I mean? Yo, Peter. Matter of fact, Paul. No, not Paul. Judas. So just imagine the way Jesus was speaking. It was always coming from a place of detachment. That's why he told you, yo, y'all don't worry. Don't worry. Do not worry, yo. Don't worry. Do not worry. Do not worry. For the birds don't worry about what's coming, what's going on. Do not worry. Don't you think our Father in heaven is going to take care of you? If the birds are taken care of, do you see what he's saying? Do you see? I'm just using this as an example to show that this had been being told for millennia. Let it go. Let it go. Because here's the deal. You don't realize that you are unconsciously holding on to something. You are unconsciously holding on to this old narrative. You are unconsciously holding on to, what they did to me and the way I grew up and this had happened. But you don't understand, D. You don't know what I've been through. You have no idea. You're right. I don't know those situations that you went through. You're absolutely correct. I don't know the trauma that you experienced. You're absolutely correct. But I will tell you this. You got the ability to let go. You got the ability to say, this was just a situation, but I am not the situation. I am the supreme conscious, eternal, infinite awareness that is behind it, that is observing that. But if you do not have that awareness, you will think that you were the situation. You will think that you were your traumas. You will think that you were the abuse. You will think that you were suffering, that you were the victim of ancestral unconsciousness, that you were your DNA. I'm going to tell you this. If the body can heal a scab without you telling it consciously, hold on, hear me what I'm saying now. If you can cut your hand and your body can heal it itself without you consciously telling it, why in the world can you not heal the past? Why not? Why not? If you skin your knee to the white meat and you got your leg bust wide open, and your body will heal it up itself without you sitting here having to journal and give it prompts and do all of these things. Why in the world can you not consciously fix your past? My point of this is, where there is a will, there is a way. Do not fall for the illusion that this thing hurt too much or it was too big or it had been going on for too long in my family that I could not be the ones to break the chains. Y'all are not trying to hear me right now. Y'all are not trying to hear me. You're not trying to hear me right now. You are not trying to hear. I'm here to tell you there is no thing that you can't do, but you have to come from an awareness of detachment. So people ask me, well, what does it look like with your healing? Here's what it is. I detach from it. It used to be an attachment. I got to heal. I got to heal. I got to fix this. I got to fix. Well, all you're doing really is just taking the two negative ends and putting them together, and they're just repelling each other. How about this? How about you come from a place of, I don't need to heal. I don't need to. And now, because you don't need to, you've just stopped the energy. You've just neutralized it. And now, because I'm coming from a place of I don't really need to, the universe will do the rest. That's the beauty of it. It's going to meet you halfway. It'll meet you halfway. And then certain things will be put in place so that you can continue on your journey of healing. Here's what happens too. I just got to say this because I see this happen so often in my life too. You want something and you desire something so bad because unconsciously you think that that thing right there is going to be the thing that's going to make you whole and happy and at peace. Okay? If I'm saying this and it's triggering, I apologize in advance. But you think that that thing, that amount of money, that relationship, that weight on the scale, that amount of followers. Hold on, let me finish now. That approval from that family member. This goal, if it gets accomplished, you think that that's going to be the thing that will give you permission to be who and how you truly are. And all we're doing is pushing it away and pushing it away and pushing it away. But the moment that you come to the realization, we say sometimes we see people in church and they go like this. They surrender, right? I'm open. I'm naked. I'm coming naked. I ain't got nothing. What you see is what you get. When you come from that place, you are actually coming from the most powerful part of you. You're able to let go because I know that I don't need this in order to be that. But the universe is like, yo, I need you to let go before I can give you what it is that you wanted. You holding on so tight. Why you got life like this? You got life around the throat and you're like, why won't you come home with me? And you choking the dog mess out of life. And life is like, I don't want to come home with you. And the life is like, I'm out of here. I'm out. Whatever you want, I'm out of here. You over here choking. But the moment that you just relax your grip a little bit, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I'll be okay. I'll be fine. It'll be exactly the way it's supposed to be. See, you got the element, you got to do the element of trust. You got to sprinkle in just a little bit of trust, just a little bit, just a tad. That trust is just a little bit. And here's the thing about trust. I can't sprinkle trust until I spread just a little bit of courage on there. Okay? If I spread just a little bit of courage, that courage will give me just enough so I can sprinkle my trust. And if I can sprinkle my trust, now I can start to let go. And when I let go, I don't have to keep opening up the oven to check and see if it's baking. I don't have to keep opening up the oven and sticking a knife in it to make sure that the cake was done. I can go ahead and leave it in there and trust and understand that the heat, that the pressure, that the struggle, that the hardship, that the adversity, that the trauma, that the abuse is going to do its job. It's going to do its job to continue baking this cake and bringing everything together just as it's supposed to be. You ain't got to go in there and keep checking the oven. So this is where like the mentality of you moving forward and detaching, it's really about you spreading the energy of courage and sprinkling as much trust as you can that nothing in life is ever meant to harm you or hold you down. All it's trying to do is help you to become more self-aware. And the more self-aware you start to understand and see exactly what you are. And when you see exactly what you are, guess what ends up happening? I let go. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I don't need nothing. I don't need anyone. I don't need anything. I don't need to be anywhere. I am all that I am. And I'm just going to be here right now. And here's what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to start to tap into this infinite seed of creativity. Now, because you're coming from a place of detachment, everything in this universe will just start flowing and just start coming to you. The ideas, these relationships, maybe a synchronicity. Maybe you were just thinking about like, how do I do that? And all of a sudden somebody said something at the grocery store and you heard it because you came from a place of, I no longer need this for me to be enough. I no longer need him to be happy at peace because I have found peace. I have found joy. I have found contentment, and it was not out there. It was in here. It was in the realization of that which I am. But the only way I realized this was by me first forgetting. It was by me first forgetting. But the only way I could forget was when the unconscious traumas were inflicted upon me when I too was unconscious. So really, my wounds, my childhood, my past, my abuse, it was always working for me. It was always working for me, even when I didn't know. It was working for me. I just couldn't see it in the moment, though. I couldn't see it in the moment. But now that I've gotten a little further down the path, I can see why it happened. That everything actually was divinely orchestrated. It was divinely maneuvered so that I would get to this point of loving and knowing myself. And now guess what you can do? You can trust now moving forward. You can trust and let go. Let go. Ask yourself right now in this moment of space and time, ask yourself, am I paying with the currency of this universe? Am I sitting here paying my energy through my attention? Am I paying something that's not paying me back? If it's not paying me back, I must ask myself, why do I continue to put money into it? Why do I continue to put energy into it? Why do I continue to put my attention onto it? When you have gained the lesson, the next thing you must ask yourself is this: can I let go of this now? Can I let go of this? Can I stop holding on to this thing that is not paying me back? I am, oh, good God Almighty, y'all ain't trying to hear me right now. I am done. I am done being a sugar daddy to my past. I am done being a sugar mama to my trauma. Am I still living off of past narratives? Am I still just giving energy, just like making it rain? I'm over here like, we over here, we clown people. Girl, I don't know why you over here wasting your time on him. I don't know why you wasting your time. You know, he over here doing this and that. You know what? This is what the universe is saying to you. I don't know why you over here sitting here wasting all your time right now. I don't know why you over here sitting here worried about what could be and what isn't. Oh, well, mom did this and dad didn't do that and dad wasn't here. We're here. You know what the universe is saying? Why don't you do something about it? Why don't you sit here and go into the depths of your soul and figure out what you need to do? Maybe I got to sign up for DG's free three steps to healing my inner child. Maybe I got to go get a new therapist. Maybe I got to sign up for a coach. I don't know what I need to do, but I know one thing. I ain't going to keep being a sugar mama. I can't keep being a sugar daddy to something that ain't giving it me back. That will never be work. That'll never work. It never will. So detachment is about you letting go. Let go. Do the work. Don't let go before you got the lesson. Don't let go before you got the lesson. Because if you let go before you got the lesson, guess what? You're going to have to do it again. This is one of the laws of being a human being. Everything is just a lesson to help you to become more self-aware. Do not abort the lesson before you have obtained the information. When you have the information, you can let it go. So the reason why I was so clingy in that relationship was because maybe I had a fear of abandonment. I was afraid of being alone. And before he left me for that other person, I started to realize this. And the universe did the rest and pushed me to that point where I was forced to listen. I was forced to take the lesson. I was forced to take this test right now. And now I realize, oh my goodness, this only happened because I was afraid of being alone. But if I had been okay with being alone, I would have been okay and this wouldn't have happened because I would not have pushed him away anyway. Do you see how this works? Go find your lessons. Learn them. After you learn them, let it go. Ask yourself what it is you really want 2024. Ask yourself what it is that you want. And then see, what's my attachment to it? Do I need this? Or do I not need this at all? One of the things I gained going into that cave for 5 days in my darkness retreat was, I told you guys that I realized that there were still parts of me that was so goal-oriented, so driven, right? These are the three-dimensional words that we call, oh, he's driven. Oh, he's goal-oriented. Look at him. He's so passionate at what he does. Please, you over here accomplishing all these goals from a mother wound. You over here think that this goal is going to make you enough. That's really why you're doing it, and that's why you're so doggone driven to get it done. But when you realize that you were already enough, you just had to accept that, and there was nothing that you could do to make you more enough. When you fully accepted that right there, now you would go on to do things and accomplish things because you didn't need to. Paradoxical effect, isn't it? I can do anything. I can do anything now because I don't have to. I don't need to. I don't need it anymore. I don't need it. I don't need to do this anymore. It'd be great if I could, but it'd be equally as fine if I didn't. And that goes with everything. And this, my friends, is the opposite energy of the mirror, of the magnet. But because of the way the mind works, it says, no, oh no, but then it doesn't look like we're going to get it. Oh no. Why? Because the mind is rooted in fear and survival. So live through your heart. Trust. Trust. You got to have 20/20 vision for yourself. The only way that you can have 20/20 vision is through your heart, though. It ain't going to be through the head. It ain't going to be through the eyes. See what you got to understand. Good God Almighty, I didn't want to start preaching again, but here we go. It's coming in. How in the world am I going to trust my eyes? How in the world can I trust my eyes? How can I trust my eyes? How can I trust my eyes? Why would I trust my eyes? Because my eyes, all they do is gather information. That's all they do. They just gather information. They don't process anything. But my brain can't gather information. All it can do is process. So why in the world am I going to trust this? Or why would I trust this? Because these two right here are in cahoots with each other. Do you see how this works? They over here sitting, he telling the lie, and he's over here looking to make the lie true. Oh, yeah, see, look, I told you they was doing that. I told you. He already had the lie. It's like the old, you see the cartoons? Have you seen the cartoons with the old, I'm 41 now. But the old cartoons with the big dog, I think the big dog, maybe his name was Spike, and he had the little dog. Like, yeah, where are we going now, Spike? Yeah, what are you going to do? Huh? Yeah. That's what the eyes are doing. That's what the eyes are doing. The brain is the big dog. The eyes is the little dog saying, yeah, what do we got now, Spike? Hey, what do we got? What narrative are we going to go look for now? Yeah. Oh, trauma? Oh, yeah. Abuse? Yeah, we're not enough? Yeah, look, I'll find it. Yeah, I'll find it. Let me look for it. Here, look, there it is. Yes, you're right. There it is. And that's what your brain's saying. You're right. Job well done, young fella. You did it. I'm going to trust the thing that don't need eyes. I'm going to trust the heart because somehow my heart knew. My heart knew. It didn't need the slippery shiesty like the little dog with the eyes. It didn't need that. Somehow it knew. It knew. That's how you let go, is trusting and listening to your heart. But in order to find your heart, you got to get rid of the distractions and be quiet. As always, I wish you nothing but the best. I look forward to working with you for the next 3 months in Revamp, where we're going to really break down all of this stuff. We're going to really break it down. I'm going to show you in 2024 how to create and do and become and just let go of everything. To let go of everything. This is the trick. This is the battle. Can you let go? Can you let go? So you can sign up right now. at lifeismental.dgmindset.com/revamp -90. lifeismental.dgmindset.com/revamp -90. Go get yourself signed up. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and give you a code. Even though the code expired, it's the holiday season. Transform 100. Transform 100. Go ahead and type Transform 100 in the coupon, and you'll get 20% off. Transform 100. As always, keep going. Please keep going. Don't you stop. Do not stop. I know it's going to get heavy. It's going to get hard at times, but understand that this is just a perspective. Please, please don't stop. And here's the other thing. I'm going to tell you like my mama told me. My mama used to always tell me, son, it's going to get heavy. It's going to get hard, and you're going to want to throw a pity party. You're going to want to throw a pity party for yourself. But I'm telling you, don't you stay your butt at that pity party too long. Don't you stay too long at that pity party. It's okay to slow down, but do not stop. Keep going, my friend. Please know that you matter, you are loved, and as always, I wish you nothing but the best on the pathway to your results.